In the marathon of life, what's possible if you have a real breakthrough in terms of your health and wellness? So much is right in front of us. And our guest, Sarina Brown, she is going to share her insights today on how you can tap into the well. You can tap into what's possible in giving some love and attention to your health and your well being. Sarina, welcome to the Inner Estate.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on. Yes, it's funny when you lose your health, it suddenly becomes the most important thing in your life. And, there's a lot of undiagnosed or chronic illnesses that the medical system isn't really totally set up to handle. They have their mastery, they have the things they do awesome. But when you find yourself with something and you don't know what it is and you're sick for a very long time with just crazy symptoms, you suddenly have an aha moment in life, like health is everything.
And that's something that you've been through.
Yeah, so in January 2024, I found myself just really, really sick. I couldn't walk straight. I was shaking. I had neurological disorders, anxiety, fatigue, and these crazy pains that would just go in and out everywhere in my body, just on and off, just waves of sickness. And I had no idea what it was. I was really happy that I'm kind of nerdy and sciency because I did go to some doctors and, go through the whole process of, the system trying to figure out what it was. And they weren't that great at figuring out what it was. So I just got a whiteboard out and I made a chart and I'm like, disease falls into certain categories and these are the tests you kind of need to go through. And it was hard to get appointments because I had been so healthy my whole life and hadn't really been in the system.
Right.
Did a great insurance plan, had basically nothing sort of set up in advance. So it was crazy. I ended up going into like a clinic where they normally do like froofy medicine, like Botox, and I just got the PA and I'm like, just order me these tests. And I sat her down and I'm like, these are the tests you need to order me. And she's like, okay, this lady knows what she was talking about. And she did it for me. And that was when I did get my Lyme's and my Epstein-Barr virus test. And they hit positive because I'm like, something's wrong here. But
Right.
when you get a positive diagnosis on something like that, you're not just suddenly really, really sick because a tick bit you and you have Lyme disease.
Right.
It's your immune system. You have to, I did end up going to naturopathic and going that route and even going beyond that to some spiritual medicine, which was amazing. But you have to look at yourself as a whole.
That's right.
And you're expressing Lyme disease and the tests are showing positive, but the tests don't even really test for the bacteria in you. It's testing for the antibodies.
That's
People don't
right.
know that. And
Yes.
so it's not exact, but your immune system, something is wrong. It's weighed down, too much is happening in your body, and you need to take it piece by piece. You need to take it apart, and you need to stop putting bad stuff in that doesn't support your immune system, and you have to detox out anything that's troubling or weighing down your immune system.
Right.
And it's better to start kind of gently because you can go through some crazy detox reactions where you like almost think I'm more sick rather than better.
Then better. Yeah.
Yeah. The first time I tried to get chiropractic as I was in my healing process, this really amazing chiropractor came. He does in-house calls because going out was not great for a time. And he arrived and I was all excited, but he couldn't even touch me. I mean, I was so sick I couldn't even barely be touched, nonetheless have a
Wow.
chiropractic adjustment.
How long was the what I would call the crisis part of your healing process?
Thank God only about 6 months. Yeah, I discovered pretty quickly, getting diagnosed takes a couple of months. And then
Right.
once you kind of know what you're dealing with, you can start and you start feeling better. And then you start having some days of life, again.
Hmm.
So it was great. One of the big things going through I found a Lyme-literate doctor. And that's important to look for,
That's
like a
very important.
Lyme-literate naturopath. And getting on, it's amazing because antibiotics, unfortunately, that's kind of what the medical system's answer for Lyme disease is.
Right.
And they really have no answer for Epstein-Barr, so to speak, because it's
Hmm.
viral. And so when you've
Right.
got the two, your bacterial, viral, your immune system is overloaded. But the antibiotics, they can work for people. If it's done early, if it's done right, they can totally not work for people and even
Yeah.
kind of possibly make you a little bit worse. But the
Worse.
neat thing about the herbals and the nutrition is they can kill the microbes, whether it be viral, bacterial, whatever you're dealing with, and they support your immune system at the same time. You can't with antibiotics, you can get superbugs because they kind of kill the weak ones, keep the strong ones. So there's
Right.
side effects. And so with the herbals, you can just do them,
Thank
and you can
goodness
do
you
them for
found,
months
as you
and years.
said, that Lyme-literate doctor,
Yeah. And then a
and that you
friend,
caught it
even
when you
more
did.
kind of crazy, a friend of mine from high school, I reached out to her because I knew she had some chronic illness and I knew she beat it. So I reached out and she turned me on to medical medium information. Have you ever heard
I
about
have not.
this fellow? Okay, this is
No.
very, very non-traditional.
I love non-traditional.
This throws people off sometimes, but the guy knows what he's talking about. By some miracle, this man named Anthony William, he talks to what he calls the spirit of compassion. He basically gets, inspirations. And so he's not a medical doctor, but his information is phenomenal. Helped my friend, it helped me, and now I've been helping some other people heal from chronic disease. I have a couple of friends that I'm working with, and it's working.
It's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
And then, so with this, I believe in your story that you've had your firsthand experience with this, and you're doing well now,
very well,
correct? Yeah,
very well. I'm
you're
back to
robust
working
and
out. I'm lifting
healthy and
weights. Working every day, I'm feeling good, I'm sleeping well. It's a miraculous recovery, really, from chronic neurological Lyme and
right.
Epstein-Barr. Yeah,
So that's fantastic. And then secondhand, yet still in your inner circle, your
yeah,
husband had an injury and recuperated from a very significant injury.
right.
The work that you did with the medical medium, did that play a role in the recuperation of your husband as well? Or is it
We
more
didn't
for
even know
chronic
about it at the
disease?
time.
Oh,
Yeah.
you didn't know at the
Yeah,
time.
did not
Okay.
know about it, and but some of the medical medium protocols are just so life-giving for the everyday person that he's
Hmm.
joined me on many of the hydrating with lemon water in the morning, the certain smoothies that you do for the liver, for, the brain. So he loves doing that stuff with me now too.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what has this turned into for you? I know you have a passion around, I mean, correct me where I'm off, but health and wellness retreats,
Mhm.
health and wellness events. Can you just share more? Like, what is this? How is this manifesting for you?
Yeah, so and it's nothing new for me because I've been passionate about health since probably about age 19, just super
Okay.
passionate. My mom passed away from cancer and it just flipped a switch in me.
Hmm.
She was 47 and it just sort of flipped a switch in me. And so it's just been a roller coaster of exploration and doing it and not doing it, partying quite a bit in my 20s and 30s. And so kind of like an on and off. And then, at age 53, coming down with chronic neurological Lyme disease, it like kind of just cemented it in like, this is my total passion.
Right.
This is what I do. I mean, it was enough of a passion even before that I wrote a whole entire health book and published that in 2017. So
Which,
yeah.
yeah, it's that's exciting. The book itself, it's 40 teen.
Yeah, 40 Teen, The Secrets of Eternal Youth. I have it here. It's
Yeah.
a fun little thing. It's
I
just
love that.
basically the theme is to relate to what teenagers do, but to kind of keep doing those things, but in
Hmm.
a different way as you
Right.
sort of get up there in age to keep that youthfulness. And so
Yes.
that was pre Lyme disease written, and
Right.
it's still so relevant. It's got a whole section of the book about how to take care of the body, a whole section on how to take care of the brain and the mind and the thoughts and the
Hmm.
mental aspects of life. And then it has some spiritual chapters, which are real fun, sort of expanded view of who you are as a person, not just a bag of blood and bones and brain.
That's right. Wait a minute, Serena, what are you talking about? Yeah, no, I get it. That's really
Yeah.
exciting.
But so the future I see myself, I am in the vacation rental business now. So I'm
Mhm.
already having people coming and going all the time, having awesome vacations. I'm here at the beach in Mexico. So this is sort of like Arizona's beach. People go to San
Right.
Diego, but no, no, no. The
No.
best kept secret is, coming down here to Rocky Point. So
Yes.
the town's nickname Rocky Point, but the official name Puerto Peñasco, Mexico. And we just have an awesome beach here and lots of, touristy fun things to do. People stay in condos and houses here right on the beach. I think you can
Right.
see the ocean behind
I
me.
can see the ocean. Yes, I
Yeah.
can. Yes.
So that's
Yeah.
where I'm calling in from today. So that, being in the hospitality business and doing vacations, and I've done several retreats in the past, but I really see a future of doing health themed retreats.
Right.
You
And
know, the importance of people to get away from their life and kind of re-engage in that experience and then bring it back home with them and have a healthier, happier life, reset the nervous system, reset, the body with nutrition and breath work and relaxation.
I think that's remarkable. And so it's exciting to me. You already had the passion, you already had some of the knowledge, you already had the desire. And then I guess one of the silver linings of your really horrendous medical crisis is it actually illuminated the importance of all of it. And it was almost like the universe saying, like, Sarina, do more. Sarina, touch more people. So now you want to pull this out and start having these wellness
You
retreats and
hit
health.
the nail on the head because I am so driven to help other people now. And I feel like with the first book, there was some information missing, which now I've learned.
Mhm.
And I really feel more equipped to help people. And I've been through it. So it's like just helping people is so much easier when you're empathizing and knowing how they're feeling and what they're going through.
Well, it's interesting just staying on the Lyme disease for a moment. As you so carefully point out, there's different manifestations of Lyme in different people, and you had that one variant that was the neurological Lyme. If anyone's listening to the two of us and they are currently experiencing either they're diagnosed with some variant or type of Lyme disease, or if they are not diagnosed yet, but they're struggling to find the clarity, what advice would you give them?
First, I would say probably if you have, either if you do or don't have the diagnosis, I would seek, if you have some of the symptoms that are immune related or neurologically related, get a good naturopathic doctor and run those tests. It's so common and there's a lot of people running around. I had an internal medicine doctor diagnose me with fibromyalgia and want to put me on some
Uh-huh.
Cymbalta or something later on.
Yeah,
A
yeah,
friend of
right.
mine who's a MD Anderson cancer doctor, she said, "Oh, that was the doctor's code way of saying she thinks that it's all in your head, and
Your
that's
head.
like an antidepressant." I was like, "What?" I did
Yeah.
fire that doctor. I
Good.
told her I walked out of her office, I said, "I'm not coming back. I think you're crazy. You gave me a
Mhm.
diagnosis, you talked to me for 10 minutes, you didn't even run any more tests." I brought some tests in, but I'm like,
Right.
I am not coming back. I'm sorry, but no.
Well,
You
and
do
I
have
think
to
that
know how to say no
that's what I was gonna say, yeah.
and use your intuition to kinda work your way through the system, but if a doctor is not giving you an answer that really is helping you and feeling right to you, go somewhere else. I probably went to 9 different places.
Mhm. Yeah, so don't be afraid to change doctors. Don't be
Yep,
afraid to say no. Don't be
right.
afraid to speak up and challenge it. And we're in a day and age where it's critical that you continue to do your own investigation and research and almost, I mean this in a positive manner, but experimentation with your own self. So as you mentioned, really almost take ownership. But you're right. Yeah. Some doctor talking to you for 10 minutes and saying like, oh yeah, fibromyalgia, here's a prescription.
Right,
See
crazy.
ya. That's not looking at the whole person.
That's not gonna be life-changing. That's not gonna
No.
take you from a bad life to an awesome life.
Right. Right. It's not. And you, through that diligence and going through that process, you've discovered it. So I
Yeah, and if
think
I
that
don't
is
mind
key.
if people listening reach out to me.
Mhm.
If I could get email address or something, if
Yeah.
someone's out there struggling, I literally don't I would love to talk to people now and help people.
Good.
I make time for it. I'm a busy entrepreneur, but when people are struggling, I make time.
And they can reach out to you. Your contact information will be anywhere where you consume this podcast. It will be in the description. And your website that you use for your rentals is
RockyPointBeachRentals.com.
so that's it. You're showing people that there's light at the end of the tunnel. Speaking of which, how important is mindset, perspective, and hopefulness
I mean,
when
it's
you're in
huge.
that
Yeah.
process?
I mean, I think if people give up too soon and just sort of say, this is my life now, that
Mhm.
can then alter your actions, which can then alter your results.
That's
Like,
right.
and sometimes when people say things to you like, this is a chronic condition, we can only do so much. If you internalize that, it kind of sets you up for not just accepting it, and then your
That's
actions
right.
aren't going to be congruent with getting well again.
Yeah, it's one of the ways that I think about that is there's acceptance with hope, which I believe is what you did. You're like, okay, I have my diagnoses now. Excellent. What's my plan? I am now going to, make change. And there's resignation. So that's what I equate that difference. I don't know if I'm splitting hairs, but if you say, oh, I have Lyme disease and it's chronic, well, that's resignation. And the difference in the physicality of your body and your mind is directly impacted by whether you're accepting it or you're resigned to it.
Yeah, I was going to do everything and anything and everything. And
Hmm.
I did. I jumped on it and I just was like, okay, this is the nutrition. These are the supplements. I had there were so many at one point. I was on this thing called the Cowden protocol and I was doing the medical medium protocols. And I had, so I had these checklists. I'd wake up
Hmm.
in the morning and it was like, these are the herbs to take in the morning. These are the pills. This is what I have to do. Then get some sunshine. I mean, it was a checklist which took me from morning to night. And so it
Right.
was like, are you willing to get better? Oh, yeah, I'm committed to it.
And were there things that you tried that didn't give you the benefit and the results that you had hoped for?
Yeah, I did quite a few rounds of doxycycline, and I'm not
Hmm.
sure, that it got to it. Like I
Yeah.
told you about that failed chiropractic deal. I did,
Right.
I
Right.
tried. There were quite a few times when I tried to have body work done during my recovery, and it was just always a
Just
disaster because I was so sensitive.
right.
Yeah,
So
so
and now look at you.
yeah.
So tell us about, so you've already written the 40 teen, which I love that, by the way. Great. 40 teen. It sounds like we might be getting 50 teen.
Yep, yep, I am. Now that it's great because now being a published author twice over with the Six
Hmm.
Figure Chicks Scottsdale Volume 2, and we're
Yes.
recording our audiobooks right now,
Audio. I
which I
know.
never did an audiobook for 40 Teen. So I'm like, maybe I could do a expanded and revised edition
You
'cause
could.
learning things, being part of the Six Figure Chicks has expanded my knowledge of how. I was a very self-published, unexperienced author. I never thought I would write a book. If you told me I was gonna write a book, I'd be like, "You're crazy." And now I
Uh-huh.
have 2 published books, but when I did it, I didn't, know all the things, and so this is kinda pushing me to go there. And,
Hmm.
40 teen applies to anyone. My oldest person who was like, "I'm 40 teen," was 92.
That's excellent.
And so, I don't have to kinda make it a 50 teen, a 60 teen, it kind of
Right.
applies to anyone. But yeah, but
I was
now
just
that
being
I'm
silly.
I'm in my mid-50s, it might be time to do a little expanded and revised edition.
Expanded, updated, and then have the audiobook.
Yeah.
I got excited as soon as you said that. I think that would be really a great idea.
And the word wasn't like a word that I thought of per se. It was in my early 40s. I was doing like a beach walk and I was like thinking about how, okay, I've done all these health things. I've kept myself young. It's amazing to be feeling this good, in my 40s. And I was just, boom, the word came in my head. I was like, 40 teen, why is that showing up in my head? That's cute. And I thought I'll just
Yep.
use that word with my friends. That'll be like a little inside joke that we have. And then I did this workshop, and in the workshop, it wasn't even like myself doing it, but I found my body standing up and my mouth opening. And I said, I'm going to write a book
There
about,
you go.
staying young. And I'm like, is that me saying that? Write a book? No, but I did. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Crazy.
And now you have 2.
Yeah.
And you're either gonna have an updated version or possibly another. I would not be surprised at all, even if both of those things happened, because you've started to allow, things to pour out of you in another fashion. I think it might keep flowing.
Yeah.
So I think that's really exciting. So tell us
Scary.
more. I know you mentioned like Rocky Point. So I guess what? I've been there. I went to
Oh,
Rocky
yeah.
Point one time when I still lived in California. So I am also now in Arizona. I have not gone yet since being in Arizona,
We'll
but
have
it
to
is
plan for
beautiful.
that. My thoughts, and Mel said something about it, our publisher, of having a six-figure chicks retreat down
Let's
here in
do it.
Rocky, and
Let's
I'll
do it.
organize the whole thing.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. We gotta get the ladies to the beach.
I think it'd be fantastic.
So with the business, it's been great. It started as a sort of like a sideline, fun little thing to do down here because I was in real estate and I thought real estate sales is what I do.
Mhm.
That's my profession. But I started loving it more and more. And
Right.
it grew from this tiny little thing where I had a guy, this was before Airbnb and Verbo. I had a guy who would stand on the corner as people were rolling into town and he'd be like,
Doing
"We
the
have
signs.
condos. You can stay at our place instead of going to a hotel." And we would rent them and for like cash, and we'd meet up at the end of the day and I'd put the cash in the envelope for the
Right.
owners and pay the team in cash. But now we're like super high tech, you know, we've got software that runs the company and, you know, we're on all the booking channels, Airbnb,
Right.
booking.com, Verbo, Expedia, you know,
And that's what you're doing as your full time.
full time. I resigned my real estate career in like right around 2021, somewhere right in
Mhm.
there. Yeah.
And you guys are living full time down there.
Yeah, you know, we lived down in Mexico full time for many years, my husband and
Mhm.
I, and now we're kind of snowbirds in a way. We do summers in Show Low, we do winters in Fountain Hills, and then we spend, you know, the springtime and a little bit of the summer down here at the beach. Kind of best of all worlds,
That sounds
desert,
phenomenal.
mountains, and beach.
Yeah, so for anyone who doesn't know, Sholo is a beautiful, smaller sized mountain town, and
Yeah, like
it's
Flagstaff, but
alpine.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
pine
it's
trees,
alpine.
bears.
So
There was
yeah,
a
so you've
bear
got
hanging out in our yard this summer. We were like, "Okay, okay."
I think that's really awesome. So
Yeah.
I wanna ask a question. So you've created what I call a life by design and redesign. So redesign, I believe you said that,
Oh boy.
your friends and family, they even have like, oh, it's the Sarina marathon of change, or they have a phrase that they talk about because you've reinvented yourself or you have made a choice that may seem bold or if something that a lot of people may be scared to do, like you and your husband at one point saying like, should we move to Mexico for a while? So where does that spirit come from and how do you keep that spirit alive within yourself?
Yeah, it's great. When I was younger, it mostly came from sheer necessity. I found myself in many really, really low places in my career. I started off with a hospitality management degree and working in Chicago at a big hotel, and it was awful. The
Hmm.
hours, the discrimination, it was just pure hell. And so I'm like, okay, I got my degree in this. I put all this hard work into it, but I'm just going to leave. And I didn't really have a solid plan. I bartended for a little bit. I decided to move across the country because I didn't even like Chicago. I'm like, what am I
Right.
doing? And so I just have just made several crazy, bold moves without, you know, I'm not going to like plan it to death. I'm like not
Yep.
happy. So anything could be better than this. And, you know, just made changes and several times in my knees and just had to kind of make changes. And then when you know, when my husband had his injury, we thought that, you know, it would be an amazing way to give him different things to do because he was a Baja racer, a motorcycle jumper. He, you know, was really good at what he did. So a lot of his habits and his daily life and his identity and all of the fun things were wrapped around that for him. So he needed like a change of environment. And then we started, you know, boating and going and see the whales and the dolphins. And then he started photography and, you know, one thing led to another and he created a whole new life for himself too. So I guess we're kind of peas in a pod.
But it is
We always ask what's our next adventure going to be? And, you know,
yeah.
like, you know, some people get that 7-year itch in a marriage where they're like, "Oh, I don't like the marriage anymore. No, we're like, okay, it's been 7 years. What's our next adventure together?
Right.
Like the Fountain Hills house was our kind of most recent adventure, like,
Mhm.
purchasing that and fixing it up. So it's just, we always ask ourselves, what's the next adventure gonna be?
That's awesome. And you're just because I think a trap a lot of people fall into is they're in Chicago, they have the job, they don't like the job, they leave it and they get another one, but they feel as if by default they need to be where they are.
They get a similar job, they get another one, but it's just at
Right.
another hotel chain, or it's,
Right.
a slight improvement or maybe not.
Yes. That's right, yeah, because
Yeah,
usually the grass is equally in disarray on either side, yeah, so
right.
and many people so I grew up and some people love it and they wanna be there their whole life. I have a travel bug since I was young, so I knew that it wasn't gonna be me, but,
Yeah,
so I'm not putting down anyone who does this because I do truly believe in different lives satisfy the heart of all different people. But some people are born and raised and live and stay and it's not satisfying their heart, but they feel as if they don't have a choice and by default they stay where they are or they stay in the career or they stay. So I love hearing that you and your husband both have locked arms and you're like we're in this together and we're going to continually have adventures that are challenging each of us when needed and calming each of us when needed, and
yeah,
we're going to live this and be where we want to be and go where we want to go and make it happen.
yeah. Can I do a shameless plug?
Absolutely.
So, for those who come down to Rocky Point, the website that we gave earlier, the rockypointbeachrentals.com, you can go on there and you can kind of put your dates in and look at all the different places. But when you do choose a place, I have a coupon code for everyone that you can use, and it's got no restrictions. You can use it on
Oh,
a
good.
holiday, you can use it for whatever amount of time, but it's for 10% off your vacation rent. And I did it in the theme of the newest book. So it's six, the letter six, and then fig, FIG, and then 10 for a 10% discount. So that would
Nice.
be a fun way to get people who need to come down or who come down all the time and would love to have a coupon code to get their asses down here.
So tell me again, it's the number 6 and then
Six,
FIG
FIG, and then 10.
10.
Oh, not
Perfect.
spelled out, the number 10.
Gotcha. Okay. The number
Yeah,
10. So numeric 6, FIG 0.
perfect.
Excellent.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to be on that. And I'll get that code from you and also put that in the description
Yeah,
where
we need
anyone
to
is
get you
listening.
back down here, but you'll
I
probably come when
know.
we do the chicks retreat.
I might need to come down before then.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
it's been a busy launch to the year. So, I just find your story inspiring. And anyone that is feeling as if you are living in default, just know that at any time you can dig within yourself, you can listen to your inner voice, and you can change. What's that cliche? You're not a tree. You have feet, not roots, right? You
Right,
can walk,
right.
right? And you've been an
Yeah,
example of that.
and same if you're struggling with your health,
Yeah. Yes.
explore, talk to me, talk to others, pick up some books. I read so many books on Lyme disease. The Medical Medium has, I think, 6 or 7 best-selling books. That's a great
Wow.
place to start.
Wow.
International best-selling, like us, 6
That's
figures.
right. Yes. So it's so exciting. So in the future, you're thinking about having health and wellness retreats, and you guys would probably be doing those in Rocky Point.
Either the mountains, the desert, or the beach, whatever
I
you
was going to
prefer.
say, and that's why I had such a questioning voice.
I can put together custom retreats for any size group, even if it's just one person that wants to do a solo retreat. Anything
Mhm.
health themed, I can definitely, that would be something to email me directly about, not go to the website for the vacation rentals, but to
Right.
contact me directly for that.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. Well, Sarina, thank you so much for sharing all of this. And I'm so glad that you have recuperated into such a vibrant, it seems almost as if you reclaimed your health and have exceeded it. Like you seem like you're just in a really great spot in terms of not just your physicality, but also your mindset and your perspective and keeping that so strong.
Thank
So
you.
thank you for being our guest and sharing all of that. If you're listening to this episode of The Inner Estate, I hope you'll come back for the next one and have a great day.